All right, I would believe we are live on YouTube now, right?
Hmm.
We are still a few minutes away from 5 o'clock, so if anyone's watching this video on YouTube after the fact, we'll have some dead air here for a couple of minutes
Stay
and then
tuned.
get started with this Family and Community Engagement Committee meeting.
Christina, just an FYI, I did send the link. I forwarded the link to Celine
Yes.
Roberts Rios. So just in case you didn't recognize the name, that is the FCSSP who will be joining us tonight.
Gotcha. I don't even have a waiting room.
Ah, okay.
I don't like those. And okay, the link is in Board Docs. That's why I do it a couple minutes ahead, so I have time to put it in Board Docs and folks can join.
It is 5 o'clock, but we'll wait a few more minutes for some other board members to join. Hopefully get rolling at about 5:04, no later.
I am sending the board messages now.
Welcome to those of you who are just joining us. We are streaming online right now. And for the recording, good evening, Ms. Brody. We'll give it another couple minutes, hopefully get one or two more board members here before getting started.
Okay, Mrs. Strata Perez just texted that she is a little late, but she will be joining.
Okay.
And
We can maybe get started with a round of introductions and we'll catch folks up as they do join. All right. So thank you all for being here and sharing your time with us this evening. My name is Stephen Tatum, a board member of the Hartford Board of Education and chair of this committee, the Family and Community Engagement Committee. Today is Thursday, November 6th, 2025. And we've got a good agenda with some updates and reports on all things family and community related at Hartford Public Schools right now. If we could do a quick round of introductions, say your name, your role, and I love a check-in question. So today, as things are getting, colder outside and some of our favorite outdoor activities feel less accessible, I would love to hear something that you enjoy doing indoors in Hartford, but out of your house. So like a place that you like to go to indoors to pass the time or enjoy yourself or whatever it may be in Hartford. Try to keep it into Hartford. Um, and we can double up because I know that there's some favorite spots for sure. So don't feel like, if someone steals your answer, that's quite all right. I'll start us off with that one. Again, my name's Stephen Tatum. I am a board member and chair of this committee. Um, and yeah, I mean, I like to just like kind of go to the library, the downtown branch or the park branch, with whatever kind of work that I have to do and have a little escape into a library zone or bring a book. Um, so I'll say that that's a sort of destination for me in in the colder months. And let's see, when you finish, just pass it off to another person until we cover everybody. So I'll pass it over to Celine Roberts.
Hi, good afternoon. I was trying to change my name on it, but I can't. It's Celine Rios. I used to be Roberts. I'm the Family and Community Support Service Provider at Annie Fisher Montessori School. I've held that position going in 6 years, prior to which I worked with the Village for Families and Children in two Hartford Public Schools for over a period of 12 years. I do live in Hartford, but for the winter months, I normally go out of town, even like in the summer months. But I would say if it has to be something inside, I do enjoy, even though during the day when I'm at work, I take my lunch late in the afternoon when the staff lounge is empty, and I like to just go sit quietly in the corner and just watch the kids play like recess outside. So they can't see me, but I could see them, just seeing them engaging, the freedom of their childhood. So that's what I would say, what I enjoy doing. So I'm going to pass it over to Christina.
hello, Christina Santiago. I'm the board liaison. And okay, I'm gonna be honest. I guess I should. A good happy hour, any restaurant in Hartford. That's what I have to do when it gets cold. In a nice bar. Okay, I will pass it on to Flor de Hoyos.
I was trying to give you a thumbs up, and for some reason, I got a no there. Sorry, it wasn't supposed to be no. I'm Flor de Hoyos. I am the director of the Welcome Center, and I'm with Christina. I would say I go to like the casino outlets, but you said Hartford, so Parkville Market. It's a good one. And I will pass it on to Jose Colon.
Good evening, everybody. Jose Colon, Chief Operating Officer for our awesome district. So winter indoors, nothing better than going to my mother-in-law's house. She cooks Sunday dinner. Feels pretty good to me. I'll pass it on to Chairwoman Brody.
Hello, and hi, Miss Rios. Um, my daughter was at that Annie Fisher Montessori for 10 years. She said all my life, but good to see you here. I don't I don't like to even leave out the house if I don't have to. I'm not gonna lie. But I would say my favorite place, it will have to be, and it doesn't matter. It's not in Hartford though. It doesn't matter if it's the any Barnes and Nobles, maybe the Manchester or Lubac Square is like a good place to hang out. Is where I'm bringing my nephew. He's one. I'm trying to make him be a book guy, even though he don't know. He don't. Of course, he doesn't know volume control, but that's kind of where I go now that it's getting like a little bit colder outside. And Leslie, I'll pass it on to you.
Good evening, all. Well, my name is Leslie Carrillo. I'm the homeless liaison for Hartford Public Schools. I've been in the district now for a few years. I'm not only a resident of Hartford, and I'm also a product of Hartford Public Schools, a parent of Hartford Public Schools, and all of that has to do to attend to our families at the Welcome Center. That's where I'm located. And my favorite thing to do during the winter here in Hartford is watch Netflix in my PJs, but I do have a 10-year-old. So movies and kind of library kind of person with my little ones. And that's it. That's my little behind the scenes secret. I pass it to Mr. Martinez.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. My name is Alejandro Martinez. I am the Family Outreach and Engagement Manager for the district. I have been with HPS for the past 21 years. And one of my favorite things to do, Florida, you took mine. I wrote down Parkdale Market. And the reason I like to say Parkdale Market in the winter months is because whenever in my family, my wife and the kids have different taste buds, and it's just a place where we're able to go in. Everyone goes and picks out which restaurant they want to eat, and then we just sit together as a family at a table, right? So that's one of my spots during the winter time. And I will pass it on to Janelle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Janelle Hooker. I am the Executive Director of the Office of Strategic Partnerships and Fund Development for our district. I do enjoy a good happy hour in Hartford, but another thing that I love to do, particularly during the winter months, is I like plays. I really enjoy plays. So I do go to the Bushnell to plays, and I'm excited because I'm gonna go see Hamilton. I missed it this last time around, so I do have it scheduled for this time around. So that's one of the things that I really like to enjoy during the winter because I get to dress up. I get to go somewhere who's local, and I get to enjoy a good show, and then after that, go out for more happy hour, I guess. I should say, keep it PG. I will then pass it over to board member Estrada Perez.
Thank you so much. I love this question. I am spoiled by choice because I live in the Parkville area. So I have so many different places that I can literally just walk to. There's pho that I love a lot when there's a really cold day. I like Ticos, which is not in my area, but still love it because they make asopao and it's really amazing. Really good Puerto Rican food. I also like La Casita del Sabor. So for me, because it's Número Dos, which is right there, really good soup, really good arepas, really good, just a broad range of food. So I am just spoiled for choice. So I would say I like to get up, I like to walk and find myself in one of those places. And I like to have some good food, usually a soup or something that keeps me warm. And so I'm really, that's one of the things that I love to do the most, just to get some really good food from some local Black and brown restaurants, because someone is there making really good food with lots of TLC, lots of love and lots of care and lots of different flavors from all over the world. So I'm spoiled for choice. I remember I tell one friend one time, I was like, oh, I'm going to get pho. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. And they're like, how many restaurants are near you? I was like, oh, I live where there is a variety and an abundance of food from all over the world. So I'm really excited to be able to do that in the winter.
Thank you. And if you're just joining us, we're doing a quick round of introductions and answering the question of a favorite indoor spot outside your home in Hartford that you go to in the winter months. And we can hear from board member Darcel Ledger. Go ahead, if you're able to unmute.
I am. Thank you. Pardon my camera being off. I'm on the break. I would say, so my name is Francoise Darcel Ledger. I am vice chair for the Board of Education. And I would say one of the things that I love to do indoors in the winter months is, well, I'm going to say two. One is yoga. I'm a hot yoga, actually. I'm a yoga teacher, but I love hot yoga in the winter months because it's literally hot, and and so it's almost like you're in a sauna or at a beach or something. Or I try to imagine that I'm at a beach for the 90 minutes that I'm in there. But I also love to go to a restaurant and have some really, really good lobster bisque. That's my thing in the winter months.
Christina, you want to take it next?
I went. I think I wasn't after Celine.
That's right. I forgot. So last, I think we have Dr. Al Saki. If you're able to unmute and would like to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about my camera being off. Al Saki, Assistant Superintendent. I would say in the summer months, wow, actually, sorry, the winter months, I actually just like, there's one particular restaurant that I always like to go, especially during daytime, which happens to be Cracker Barrel. I'm just folks are gonna laugh about that, but that just seems to be my go-to place, especially in the cold months, to just go have a nice warm meal. So that's how I spend some of my time. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I have a point of privilege?
Go ahead, Ms. Brody.
Okay, so I gotta say somewhere in Hartford I think it's a best kept secret. Is a Mexican restaurant on Farmington Avenue. A lot of us were familiar with Tisani or Tisane, whichever way people say it. But Monte Alban, and I know I'm not saying that with my tongue rolling, but it is authentic Mexican food. I'll put their fried snapper up against anybody's. So if you haven't been there, they make their own chips. It is a small, cool place. I love the staff. So, and they have some sitting area. So if you haven't been to Monte Alban on Farmington Avenue, near Evergreen, you are missing out on some and they have drinks too. But I wanted to shout them out because they are a very nice place, a nice vibe there. Thank you.
Thank you for shouting them out, and thank you everyone for celebrating all the wonderful, cultural entertainment, restaurants, like public spots that we have here in our city. It's great to it's great to just celebrate all that's going on and also connect for each of you. Like, what is it that you get up to, and get to know you a little better as people, even though we see each other a lot in this kind of like working context. So I try to keep it human as well. No one said the Wadsworth. I'll shout out the Wadsworth too. Going to the art museum is always a fun thing to do. And I believe they're still free for Hartford residents through the Hartford Welcomes program. So check that out. All right. Let's get started with the agenda. We're going to start with some updates and upcoming events. Then hear a report from Title I and hear from our FCSSP who has joined us this evening, and then get into the regular Welcome Center report and SGC reports. Ms. Hooker, you want to get us started with some of the updates and upcoming events?
Sure. Thank you so much, Board Member Tatum. As I said, good afternoon. My name is Janelle Hooker, and speaking to you from the Office of Strategic Partnership and Fund Development. We want to start our meeting today in sharing with you information of Hartford Public Schools and our stands around supporting our families and community around two impending situations that our community is currently facing. I will speak first around the hurricane relief communication that went out from the Office of our Superintendent, which everybody had received that via our Parent Square method of communication, as well as the communication that went out around SNAP benefits and the support that as a district we're doing, which you're able to see here in the presentation. Our district is currently working with different partners in the community to ensure that we also, in solidarity with our community and our families, are putting systems and mechanisms in place to ensure that our families are supported through these different situations that are occurring. We are working with our building leaders to ensure that we have systems not only to support on food donation collection for the pantries that our schools currently have. So this way we can ensure that our families are receiving the support that they need. We're also working with our local organizations and our city around efforts to support hurricane relief. Please be in the lookout for additional information around how you can support our families in joining Hartford Public Schools and the different organizations around the city. Next slide. We always like to have our meeting go through our to-do. So for November, the Office of Strategic Partnerships and Fund Development has the upcoming event on November 8th. In partnership and collaboration with Hartford Healthcare, there is the Hartford Healthcare Medical Mission that is scheduled to occur at Hartford High School. And this is on a Saturday and is a 9 to 2 event open to the community. So everyone is welcome to stop by to get information around medical support, medical screening, dental support, and all the different services that they're able to support. This is an annual event that happens at Hartford High in collaboration with Hartford Healthcare. On Saturday, November 15th, we are hosting our second Breakfast and Learn family learning session for our families. We are doing the second one at Naylor School, and this one is scheduled from 9 to 12:30. This is open to all families in the city of Hartford of our district to come out and get information around how to best support your student in our schools. We can't wait to see you and host you at this event. There's lots of raffles, information. We have childcare to be able to support with your little ones so you can bring your children with you. We have translation services, and we do provide a hot breakfast in the beginning of our event, and we do have a lunch grab and go at the end of the event. On November 17th, we do host and facilitate a partners monthly meeting. This one occurred at Connecticut State Community College, Capitol, where we want to make sure that all partners, current partners of Hartford Public Schools, have update information on pertinent information from the district that can better support the services that are being offered within our school buildings. These particular monthly meetings are from 11 to 12:30, and we look forward to seeing you there. On November 19th, we are having a continuation effort to our Raising the Bar series of events that we have scheduled for our students and families, particularly in our 11th and 12th grades from our district. Such event, we're doing it in partnership with the North End Hartford Ascend Pipeline. And this event is going to be facilitated at our Fred D. Wish School from 6 to 7:30. What can you expect? This is an event for families where we're going to be providing information around preparation for post-secondary, what families can expect around the process, from FAFSA, from applications. We're going to have resources around scholarships and those deadlines, and really help family members walk through the process. We currently have a total of 18 vendors signed up to be at this event to provide this information, which is open to the community. So we look forward to seeing you there from 6 to 7:30. November 21st, we are in partnership and collaboration with the We Love You International Foundation, who is looking to do a coat distribution for families and students from West Middle School. And we're going to have this event from 1 to 3 p.m. at West Middle School. Please connect with your FCSSP from that school to be able to get signed up on the list and have more information on the protocols in place for that event. On this slide, we also want to make sure that we reference, as this information is going to be all on board docs. Ms. Santiago, if you can just click on either Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, or Zone 4, you are able to get information by zones, by schools, of the different activities and events that are scheduled for you to be able to be an active participant of the school where your child is currently attending. We are looking forward to hosting all of our families to come to all of these events. And you're able to find a full list of events on this slide or this information, which will be posted on our board docs information for you to have. Next slide, please. At this time, Board Member Tatum, if you don't mind, I would love to be able to transition us to get information around our Title I report. And we started to incorporate on a monthly basis. We started last month to be able to have particular information from each one of our schools and our family and community support service providers that can really share information on how we are collaborating with families to ensure that our activities are pertinent to their needs. And that we are keeping them at the center in terms of decision making. At this time, I will hand over the presentation to Alejandro Martinez to be able to do the introduction of our FCSSP for the night.
Thank you, Janelle. Christina, we can move her to the next slide so that I can provide the Title I budget information. Thank you. So just a recap of where we are with encumbered expenditures as a Title I parental engagement funds. So as you all know, we received $130,286.70. As of October 31st, we have encumbered $34,662 with 77 cents. Which still leaves us with the available funds of $95,623.99. And this is just for every single school. At this moment, the goal was, or the target was for us to have encumbered 25%. Right now, as I'm having conversations with my FCSSPs, there's a lot of things that went in October that still hasn't been cleared. But as of October 31st, the things that have been cleared for purchasing, have been 21% out of the total amount. So we're just shy of 4% short of what our goal was. but I know that the FCSUs are ensuring to, when we hit our next deadline in December regarding our 50%, that hopefully we'll make it there. And obviously, some of the activities, and Celine will elaborate on what's going on in the school. Some of them are, the funds are going towards workshops and activities at the schools that parents are involved in and are part of the decision making. We also have, I'm wrapping up and I'll have that for you all on November 14th, the Title I parent rep for every single school. That is something that we decided to bring back this year, and that will be finalized by the 14th of November. And I'll provide that information as soon as I have it. Any questions before I introduce Ms. Rios? Okay. Next slide, Christina. And here with us, we have former Miss Celine Roberts. We're still trying to get used to the Rios here at the office. Celine Rios, she is the FCSSP at Annie Fisher Montessori, and she is going to give you a day-by-day of her roles or responsibility as an FCSSP and how she plans her expenditures with Title I and how she involves parents. So without further ado, Ms. Celine Rios, Annie Fisher, FCSSP.
Hi, thank you. So a day to day, there is never the same day. You know, our main focus is parent engagement. So for us, it would be a look at attendance. So it would start off the day with attendance, calls would go out to parents whose students do not show up, linking with them, trying to see what those barriers are for the attendance. I am very, very happy to say that today we only had 7 kids out absent, and yesterday we only had 4. So that's big kudos for us. Our chronic absence rate currently is, I think I checked yesterday, it was like 9%, and we are trying to get it down to 5 by the end of the school year. And we seem to be on track for that. So our main focus is the attendance of the day, as well as any parent concerns, or sometimes it might come directly from a parent, it might come from a student, and then we do that reach out and we just meet the child where they are and the family where they are and help support them that way. So with Title I, being in a Montessori school, some parents do know what the curriculum looks like and some do not. Sometimes they just apply to the lottery because they want to get a kid in a magnet school, and then we have the disconnect that it's not a traditional school and the parents kind of have like a little rough transition in with that. So we try to center our funds along informing and educating the parents along what Montessori is, what the purpose of Montessori is. It's how the child learns, how the guide follows the child as opposed to leading the child. This year we have done, we had 1 workshop already. It was a math night and fall festival, but within it was traditional math, but we also exposed parents to the Montessori materials, and the children were actually able to show their parents like what they were learning and how it is taught. It's a more concrete approach to learning. So parents were kind of amazed to know that the kid who was in kindergarten could already add in the thousands when they're just thinking of like only know exposing to numbers 1 to 10. We plan with a lot of our activities are planned with the PTO. They do support us so that our funds could go towards possibly hiring or presenter for the night, and like the PTO would provide the food, so we don't have to look like 25% of our money going towards food. This year we are working with the PTO. What we found was we were having a great turnout with all our parent activities because the parents really want to know how language is taught, how math is taught, how science is taught within the curriculum itself. But the piece we were missing was the social piece of it. So we had some parents come together and say, hey, why don't we do, we do have a dance, but it's not much of a focus. They wanted to do like a wellness night. So that's where we are going this year and as we mentioned about winter, we figured that we'll have a wellness night. That night, Francois, we might be reaching out to you with yoga, not heated, but we are going to do yoga night with the parent and child activity with that. Our gym teacher is taking on the lead for that. So that way we didn't have to pay for a presenter. We were able to use the money to allocate towards yoga mats for the families or the fitness kits that they could continue on home with that child. That's pretty much like a nutshell of what it is at Annie Fisher Montessori. Any questions? We were allocated, I believe, $1,222 and something. We have spent short of $1. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Correct.
Any questions?
Thank you so much for sharing what you have going on there. Sounds really wonderful. Ms. Brody, I see your hand. Go ahead.
I don't have a question. I have a comment. I think she's being very humble in what all she does. So I have my child for years, like when she needs somebody to go cry with. When I think what Miss Rios has done is knowing the children very well and knowing when she needs to provide support to a child because she knows that they're off, or just being a safe space for many students. So I definitely want to say that because she has been that for my child for many years. So another thing that that she actually is an asset to the school and provides. I wanted to say that.
I've just officially gotten the name as Gam Gam from a 3-year-old, so I'm her grandma
Okay.
now. Unofficially, I'm grandma at the school. Any other questions along Title 1?
Mr. Svelliger, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have a question. I just love what I'm hearing. Any way that I could support, there's also sound healing, all of that. That's just lovely. Wellness is so important. It's I can't stress it enough. But I love what I'm hearing and sending light and love to you all.
Oh, thank you. And it's not that we do not also focus on academics, because we do have a day in January where parents are allowed to come in to their child's classroom and their child actually present a Montessori lesson to them.
Mhm.
And at those meetings, we would get over 100 and something parents taking time out of their day. They book a slot for 15 minutes and actually coming in and seeing their kids work with the materials, because they would go home and say, I worked with golden beads and I worked with the Bronx Day, and parents not quite like, what are you talking about? So we do focus strongly on the academics, but we also saw that we needed that extra, just that calm that parents were looking for. And we're going to have that night in January when, it's going to be cold and nothing really much to do outside, so they can come into the building and have that moment.
Mrs. Strata Perez.
Thank you. I just wanted to say it's not a question. It's just a comment alongside the other comments. Thank you for sharing what you do at the schools. Thank you for the added context that the other board members also added to the role. I think when we're talking about how we spend our dollars and the necessity of what our community needs, it's so important to recognize that in order, to your point about academics, in order for academics to be there, we also have to have the fundamental reality that our young people need a human, caring adult who is able to be there and support them in the same way that their families need that, whether they're going through a good space, or they're going through a crisis, or they're going through a moment of uncertainty, right? As we are going through collectively. So I just wanted to name, often when we talk about budgets and money, we talk about figures and dollars, but this is the real implication. This is where the money is going. And this is why we fight so hard for these positions, because we recognize and understand the really deep, important work that you do, from academics all the way down to holding a child when they are crying and they need some space and support, and where that family also needs that support. So I just wanted to, you know, give that shout out to you, because it's such important work, and our kids are better for it, our families are better for it. So just thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, stitching together these and bridging these gaps that sometimes happen between what's going on in school, what's going on at home, and keeping kids engaged, helping families engage and really support the education of their children is so valuable. So thank you, Celine, for all the work that you do over there at Annie Fisher, and thank you for taking the time to share your stories with us. It is really valuable. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Keep on the good work.
Alejandro, I have to jump into SGC meeting now. So if there's no other
You're-
questions, have a good
you're-
night, everyone.
You're good. Thank you so much, Celine. Keep up the
Thank
great
you,
work.
Celine.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there more on your end, Alejandro, or are we moving on to?
The next topic also belongs to me.
Okay, take it away.
So we're going to be discussing School Governance Council and the monthly update at this particular moment as of October 31st. So Christina, if you could go on to the next slide. This is just a reminder that the picture of the SGC component, the 7 parents, the 5 teachers, the 2 community leaders, and the 2 students at the high school level. And just as a reminder to everyone, these are elected positions, not appointed positions. Next slide, Christina. And so I know Christina sent over the full report to you all. You're able to look at each school individually, but there's a couple of things that I wanted to break down in this slide. So what I actually did, I was comparing this year's data with the exact same data that we presented last year at this particular time. And so as of right now, we have 21 schools with full SGC membership. That is a increase from last year. At this particular time last year, we only had 9 schools who have full membership. Parental membership, the total number of parents this year compared to last year. This year we have 206 compared to 192 where we started off last year. Teacher membership, we're currently at 166 teachers. Last year, we started off at this time with 142. And as far as community-based organizations, we were at 62. Last year, we were at 56. So we can clearly see that the schools, the administrators, the FCSSPs, the parents, everything that the team and I have put in place has been working to ensure that we have full SGC memberships for everyone as soon as possible. The map itself, this is a breakdown of what I have with the 14 members, which is a full SGC, we have 55.3%, and that is a total of 21 schools. I have 11 schools that have 9 to 13 members. And then I actually have 3 schools with 8 to 1 member in the SGC. And the 3 schools that were pending is very interesting because Christina, right before the meeting was about to get started, I was like, Christina, I was actually getting data from those particular schools because their elections were today. And so they saw that it said pending and they were like, no. If we can put in our data by the time of the meeting. And so those 3 pendings have dropped actually down to 2. Renzulli and Classical have members in them. They're not at full membership, but Classical has 12 members and Renzulli has 5 members, which only will leave us to Annie Fisher STEM, who's still currently working under SGC, but they just finished about a week and a half ago putting together their brand new PTO. And obviously we need to make sure that schools have PTO established before move over to SGC. So hopefully by the next Board of Ed meeting, we're able to say that that these numbers are going to continue to grow. I do have to say that by November 14th, we will have a full list of SGC meetings per school. We will have the SGC co-chair parent for schools as well. So that information will be coming on the 14th. That information has been going out to principals from the beginning. We actually added to, as a reminder, and our Friday focus could go out tomorrow to principals again as a reminder that we need those information. In addition to that, one of the things that we did this year, we wanted to feel that there is a connection between the SGC members and our department itself and the districts. So I sent out per school a welcoming email to all SGC members, the parents, community partners, the teachers, the FCSSP was involved in that process, and the principal. So that way they feel that they're not just in silo working by themselves. They actually have a whole entire team at the district levels that if they have any questions, concerns, they're also able to reach out to us as well. We're also going to be working now that more than 50% of our SGCs are established. We are going to be coming up with a date so that they can receive the SGC training from the state level, which is something that we do every year. And that's just not for parents, that's for everyone. That's for parents, teacher, community partners, administrators, and that's open to the public. So you really don't have to be an SGC member in order to join that meeting as well. And I just want to make sure I cover everything. In addition to that, we are working with our communications department. The Hartford Public Schools website, there is some information there that was from previous years that has been cleaned up. The only information that is still there, and it's from, you will see videos from 2019 to I believe 2024, and it's library videos that we have in there from previous trainings that we've had. And there has been a tradition just to keep up those videos and actually upload new ones. So in the SGC page, you will only see, if you see a little bit blank at this moment, because we still have to fill in some information, and we did leave some previous videos from different SGC trainings there. And I think that covers everything. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Anyone have questions about SGC related things? Seeing no hands, thank you for your efforts. Glad to see that there's some good success getting more members seated. And I realize I might be frozen.
I see
Can
Board
you
Member
hear me
Tatum.
okay?
I see Board Member Brody, Chairwoman Brody.
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, so I have a couple requests, and I hope I'm going through a choppy area. But is there like a centralized list of SGC folks per school?
Yes, ma'am. So I did send Christina the full report, and it has every single school there with the numbers of members for each individual school, if they're a parent, a teacher, and a community partner.
I have a couple questions. Mr. Chair, I could just go through them.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. So, like, if there's a meeting, all of our, like, the meetings that we're holding, like, say if it's a meeting, if it could be identified as, if it's a Zoom meeting, is it in-person meet, the location of the meeting? I think when we have events, it is like for people to decide if they could come or not. A Zoom meeting, more people might be able to. For those who don't do Zoom, they might look for the in-person meetings. So if we could identify like that, like if Zoom is available or not.
Is that just for the SGC meetings or for events in general or for both?
Mainly, it would be great, definitely, if I knew some SGC meetings were on Zoom, but definitely our district events, so people can like plan out what they are able to attend.
Okay. And I will provide, and when you receive from me the SGC meeting dates, I will make sure that I will ask, because there are some administrators who've already started sending those dates to me, and a couple of those meetings are via Zoom. So I'll make sure to add a tab on that to ensure that there is that you all know that it's Zoom or in person, and there's a link also for the Zoom meeting.
Okay, and I know parents are available to I like how they want to be like contact, like, we list the parent, we use the contact. It's up to them to say how they want to be contacted. So if it is however they are to be contacted as the chair, if that contact information, because they have to choose at least one method of contact, for that to be available too.
Yes, I'll be providing that to you. Yeah.
And just one thing, did we mention capital prep in our reporting? I didn't hear it if we did.
Capital prep, it's one of those schools. I only mentioned the schools that were pending. Capital prep did provide some data, so there is some information there on capital prep. I believe capital prep has, I'll let you know right now how many members capital prep has, as that is something that I always have. Here, give me 1 second.
They're listed as one of the pending schools in the full report as I see it.
No,
One of
give
the
me
three
one.
pending schools.
Give me 1 second. Yeah, hold on. I have the information for capital prep. Yeah, 1 second.
Sorry, I found the attachment, but it seems like it's
Yeah. So
Oh,
I
pending.
have for capital prep, and my apologies if I did not update capital prep. Capital prep has 3 parents, 5 teachers, and 1 community partner. So I will make sure that I update this information for capital prep.
Oh, that's right. This was as of October 31st. So, okay. Got it.
More teachers than parents.
At this particular moment, yes. I know that I'm currently working with the FCSSP and the administrator there to ensure that we fill those 4 seats for parents and that 1 seat for the CBO.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Saleger, go ahead.
Thank you. I have a clarifying question with regards to that. Are those, because Board Chair Brody said that more teachers than parents, are any of those teachers parents as well?
No, that is something. So one of the things that we put in place this year, that I forgot to mention. So I did ask for every single nomination form. I did ask for if it was electronic or in-person ballots. I did review every single roster with each individual FCSSP. And as soon as I noticed any Hartford Public Schools emails on the parent, I did give a call to the school and say, is this a current staff member that is currently working there? So per SGC policy, no staff, even if they have a child there, no staff member can serve as a parent in the SGC, but they can serve as a teacher in the SGC.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't raise my hand. Can I ask a follow-up?
Go ahead,
Sure.
Ms. Brody.
If they don't use a Hartford Public Schools email, we might not know if that's how we're identifying them. So could we send something to principals so they can clearly understand that part of school governance councils, that if you are a staff of that school, you cannot serve as a parent on the SGC. If we could just make that clear so there's no misunderstanding, since the principal is a co-chair with a parent, that they know that that is what we should absolutely be doing.
Sure. And just that is something that we've been sharing with FCSSPs and school administrators from the very beginning of this school year, but we'll make sure to put it out again. I know that was one of the reasons why in the original timeline that I provided, it took me a little bit longer because we were really reviewing the SGCs at each individual school. Number one, I just wanted to make sure that in this case, there wasn't a parent that was a staff member serving as a parent. We wanted to make sure that everyone that is part of the SGC was someone that was elected, and not someone that was just handpicked to be part of the SGC, and the process was followed. But Janelle and I will make sure we sent that message out again to school administrators to just ensure them that if you are a staff member, you cannot serve in a parent capacity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Seeing no other questions, thank you for that report and all that information. Are we moving on now to the Welcome Center report? Is that correct?
We could, but at this time, we're going to give some
Nope.
updates on
Go
the
ahead with the
volunteering
order here.
process.
That's great.
Okay. We wanted to take an opportunity to also highlight some of the work that we have been doing on the volunteering process, as our policy has now been reviewed and voted on, and we have heard some of the either requests or concerns that parents has brought up at the board, that we were working intentionally in ensuring that information is being cleared. So as you can see in all of the different things that the office is working on, we want to make sure that we are following protocols, processes, and procedures, and being as transparent as possible, and information is as available as possible. Next slide, please. So at this time, we now also have a step-by-step guide that once individuals are confirmed that they can volunteer in our schools because they went through the volunteer application and the vetting process, there are steps that they can follow. So I'm here sharing, that they can go through our website, click on the menu bar, they go to Family and Community section of the menu bar and scroll down. They will get into the Get Involved plus sign and click on the volunteer and internship information. Ms. Santiago, if you click on the link, the hyperlink that's there, it should take us. So this is specific to the section of our website where parents and community members will be able to get information around our volunteer process. As you can see, some enhancements that were done on my right, your left, is noting in blue and making sure that we're highlighting and elevating information for people to see. If you click on HPS School Volunteer Policy, it will take you to the recent policy process that we went through and the board voted on. So they can go straight at it at a glance. If you click on the volunteer forms for family and partners, it will be able to take them to the actual application that they need to complete. And if you click on the volunteer guide, which is a step-by-step guide that is created to give information on, now that you're a volunteer, what happened, on scheduling appointment, reaching out to the school, and then it explains everything that needs to happen in detail and provide our families with additional tools that they can use, from templates and scripts to facilitate the process as they are looking to be more engaged in our schools. And if you, we also are able to have it in Spanish as part of ensuring that we are having the information available for our families. This information was sent out via Parent Square as well. I just wanted to use this platform to say we are listening to what our families and parents are highlighting and bringing, and working diligently to have those processes cleaned up and available for them to access. Thank you so much, Ms. Santiago. Next slide. So if there are any questions on this particular process, I'm open to questions, but then if not, we would be able to move on to our Welcome Center report.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Birdie.
So when a volunteer sign up, does the principal like get a list and see like when they need a volunteer that they, reach out?
Correct. So enhancements that we made this year is on a weekly basis at the main office. So for the principal, main office, and our security staff, there is a list, an updated list of approved volunteers at the main office for everybody to have, for them to have access and know who there is. This particular guide is, we did hear that once they get to the school, like, it's kind of, what do we do? Like, people didn't know, like, do they sign in? Where do they go? So we wanted to be as clean and provide both our school administrators, our security staff, our office assistants, our FCSSPs, our family members, our partners, anyone that is really looking to come in, to really have a step-by-step of what to expect once they're cleared. And on that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, like, if a principal say, well, I don't need parents on Mondays, even though maybe their availability is on Monday, I need parents on Wednesdays, or not just parents, just volunteers.
Volunteers.
Yeah, they're able to say, this is my need, instead of you showing up on your day and I have to find something like for you to do, and that might not be a good day. So I was just trying to get clarity on it.
Yes, so this guide actually expressed that once they are vetted and processed and on that list for each school to know, we are encouraging, and we gave a script, not encouraging, we're asking volunteers, we provided a script to reach out and schedule an appointment to come into an orientation where they will be able to get information on the top 5 or the areas that the school, based on the need, has for volunteers. These identified roles are coming from the school administrators, based on what the school really needs, and based on appointments, we would be able to know the set day, set time, set schedule that volunteers are coming in to provide the service that they got screened to come in, that the administrators and the school need, and they got oriented to do. And everybody should be following and be aware of what needs to occur, when, what, and how.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess I would just make a request of any staff that are working like on these policies and procedures that like if you're getting feedback from any of the prospective volunteers or current volunteers, or if you as staff are, you know, have feedback about how the process is working or not working, to please share that up with the board so that we can look again at that policy. And I know we passed it. My sense was that we passed it because it was good to get that on, you know, get that ball rolling and not to be close this off to future revisions as this new policy, the new policy and procedures get rolled out. So do keep those channels of communication open so that as a board, we can revisit any pieces of that policy that seem to be creating unnecessary barriers or are just not working for whatever group of people are needing that policy to work better for. So yeah, just let us know. Ask that you share feedback going forward in these coming months. Any other questions about the volunteer policy or its implementation? Seeing none, we can move on to the Welcome Center report.
Thank you so much, Board Member Tatum. This we will be transitioning it to our director, Flor de Hoyos. Flor, if you can just do an introduction of Ms. Carrillo, that would be helpful.
I will. I was planning on introducing her in a few, but I am Flor de Hoyos from the Director of Welcome Center. We can go on to the next slide. I am going to talk about the intakes that we have at the Welcome Center. And as you know, you previously received all of these reports. What we added new here on the slide, you will see September, we have 879. And Christina, if you can click on any of the three, you will see that all of the reports that you receive is also displayed here now to make it a lot easier. I'm going to give a breakdown of the 879 on the next slide. If you see last year,
you muted yourself.
I was just gonna say.
I moved my papers and I muted myself, sorry. As you see, as of last year, we had 638 around this time intakes, and this year we have 879. We always talk about the top three, but I know that there was some more questions about what these top three look like. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to give a more detailed breakdown. Out of the 879, 26 were complaints, 9 were concerns, 844 were requests. As you see, the top 3 were the displaced families, which are the homeless families. We did receive 233 intakes. However, 195 turned out to be displaced families. The other folks that were not categorized under this homelessness category, we did provide support in other areas. The other one was the transportation inquiries. We had 169 intakes. 100 were transportation requests and information. The next one was uniform assistant. As you know, in September, we had a lot more families requesting uniform. And for that, we had 147 intakes. Going down the line, we had 69 intakes for clothing, 55 intakes for school supply, $55 for bus passes, 24 hygiene kits. And for McKinney Bento, we had 20 intakes for the month of September. And for safety transfer, we had 18 intakes. For the schools the top 3 schools that we had, I will name the top 5. The top 5 elementary, we had MD Fox with 95 intake requests. Global had 41, Wish had 37, Kennedy had 34, and Moylan had 28. For middle school, McDonough had 38, Milner had 32, Belize 24, Burr 17, and MLK with 15. And for high schools, Weaver had 52, Buckley had 45, Hartford Public Schools had 39, Pathways and Great Path Academy both had 5. There was an other category with out of district. Those were 113 intakes, and for new students, there were 36 intakes, and for New Vision, we had 5. There was also 82 students that were identified under McKinney Bento, and we had some donations for school supply from United Way. And for McKinney Bento, if you see, we have a new displaced student number, and I would like to introduce our McKinney Bento liaison, Mrs. Leslie Carrillo, who is going to give a more in detail information about our McKinney Bento and our homeless families for the month of September. Ms. Carrillo?
Thank you, guys. You hear me right? You could hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Awesome, great. Next slide, please.
Ms. Santiago, it's actually the previous slide, and if you just click on the hyperlink
Yes.
that says displaced students, there you go.
Number, yes.
Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so McKinney Bento, as of right now, as we speak, we have a total of 269 students flagged as McKinney Bento participants throughout Hartford. Out of those 269, 24 are staying at hotels, 150 are doubled up, 78 are staying in shelters. Then we have 16 unaccompanied youth, which are the youth who are not staying at their parents' home due to different circumstances. We have seen an increase at this point with the McKinney Bento due to the eviction percentage here in Hartford that has increased since the COVID pandemic by 13%. We have a lot of families who have lost their jobs, and being single parents, it's been very hard for them to stay over a flow, and eviction comes definitely a must. Evictions have been rising as we speak. The data is there in the one that I got this information is from the Mirror data that was completed not a long time ago. And actually it shows that in the 2024 population, just in the state of Connecticut, there were 700 children who were displaced, and that's just kids, students. Here in Hartford, we have also seen, unfortunately, an increase of fires. So far from July up to now, we have had a total of 8 fires throughout the city in different zones. And in those 8 fires, we have 6 students who have been impacted. So we have been offering different services for the students. So like that, they could remain at the school of origin as parents, working, regaining the whole piece that they lost, unfortunately. I'm very proud to mention also that we have been working with the 100-Day Challenge Project, which was a project that has been working with the state of Connecticut, with other agencies such as Journey Home, Handsome Hartford, City of Hartford and other cities around us, such as New Britain and other ones like Weatherfield. And it's basically a process where I meet with the families who don't only come to get the barrier of being displaced and the kids remaining in school, but we also just complete a referral. This referral is submitted into a system that was developed with the 211 CAN assessment. And immediately these families are contacted. They are offered with different assistance, either is housing, food, whatever immediate assistance they need at the moment. Because as a resident of Hartford, anybody could complete the 211 CAN assessment, but the lines are very long, the needs are various. But by working in this project individually, it actually gives us, a more direct work with the system, but also with the parent in getting an immediate answer instead of waiting sometimes months just to get an answer for a placement to make their housing stable again. We don't only serve students who are doubled up, which are the students who stay with other family members, and their families do, as I mentioned before, due to eviction, but also to the rise of parents losing their jobs and just trying to stay afloat. It's been very hard and challenging this year. So this 100-day challenge project has definitely, give us a little of a shoulder kind of lift weight here, per se. This is pretty much, what I have to say when it comes to the behind the scenes of McKinney-Vento. I'm more than welcome to answer any questions. You're gonna see my information here. So at any moment, you're more than welcome, to direct any parents with questions or concerns that they might have.
Thank you for sharing that information. Definitely sobering news to see how our families in our city are impacted by these various factors. Are there any questions for Ms. Carrillo? Yes, Ms. Hooker?
Not a question, but I do want to raise that we will be providing this detailed information twice a year. So this way, we at least give in-depth information on where we are in terms of when you see these numbers that we're reporting, and this is kind of one of the ones that has a highest impact. And the report that you see here, you can see the breakdown by schools and the different type of needs that those schools are now also carrying and how we're supporting them. But I thought that it would be important for us to be able to highlight at least twice a year, a school year, to give you that little bit of information. So when you see those peak numbers, we can kind of really break down where we are.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I have if I can jump in, it's not about the McKinney-Vento students. It was about other stuff in the Welcome Center report. Flora, you mentioned that we had, I think it was over 100 intakes from families whose children are not in the district. I'm curious who those people were or what they were calling about, like what brought them to the Welcome Center. Is there a trend? I'm just curious who that is, because that's a significant percentage of the intakes that we did for the month. So I'm just wondering who those people are and what they're interested in.
Absolutely. So just because it's out of district doesn't mean that they don't belong to us. What happens is that some of our families are in magnet schools out of district. And if they need some type of support or needs, because we are the nexus, they come to us. So we still provide them services. A lot of those services tend to be with the homeless families, and we do provide things like hygiene kits. We provide backpacks, we provide school supplies, uniforms, underwear, socks, coats. Right now, we're in the middle of distributing coats. And so when even though they don't go to our school because they are Hartford residents, we still support them. So that's why that number seems high. We don't exclude anybody, but we don't have people coming out of the district. Like I don't have Newington families or Waterbury families coming to us. The families that do come to us is because they live in Hartford.
Got it. Thanks for that clarification.
Absolutely. I can continue with my report then. I want to say thank you to Mrs. Carrillo because that is a very thorough. She has been extremely busy at the Welcome Center. As you saw, the numbers speak for themselves. And so I'm so grateful to have such a great and strong team that is keeping this going. And on the next slide, I will report for the Family Resource Centers, the supportive services that we have provided at Burns Latino. We have 823. Now, all of the schools do provide social and support services. However, some do other different things. So at Burns Latino, we see the mental health, childcare services, home visits, and before and after care. At Wish School, there were 310 services provided. Again, the social and support services. And this school had also educational programs and after-school programs. At Rawson, we had 333 social and support services, housing, play groups, and families in training. And at Sand, they reported having 355 services and social and support services and other referrals. Those other referrals could be with our community partners in other areas, such as food pantries and things like that. At Maria Sanchez, it was 100, and they reported 165 services, and those included aftercare services, social connections, school age activities, families in training, and preschool. And that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
I do not see any questions, but if any questions arise as board members are going through the complete report or there's information that they want that they're not seeing, feel free to shoot them my way or to Christina, and I'm sure that we can get that information.
Thank you.
And thank you. I believe that is concluding our agenda this evening. Is that correct? I'm seeing nods. Right.
Correct.
Thank you all for your time and your engagement and sharing the information. Wonderful to be together and hear all these updates on community engagement.